Okay. See, this is going to be around 30 minutes or so is the duration of this session. After that, we'll have a discussion for another 15-20 minutes depending on your interest level. It's a very generic topic. No technology is involved, but some logic is involved. That's what. That means for you to understand the business problem that is explained here and the solution that they have found, you need to just think logically. That's it. You don't have to be a programmer or something like that. So it's not a technical session, even though I'm talking about a technical problem as such. So this is the title, actual title of my session, Story of reCAPTCHA. Purposefully, I didn't give this title. I gave a different title to the HR team because of two reasons. Number one, at that time I didn't choose the right title. Number two, I didn't want the word reCAPTCHA to appear in the email, otherwise you will Google and find out. So I wanted you to get the surprise after you are coming here, because it's a very good surprise that I enjoyed when I read about it. So I'll just give you a brief about how I got into this topic. Recently in Twitter, somebody posted a picture saying that how this reCAPTCHA works. So they just posted a picture and said this is how it works, and it was really interesting. So I shared that to my Twitter followers and I said, this is very interesting, I want to learn more about it. So immediately within the next 5 minutes, I got some 4-5 interesting links. Two of them were very interesting, one video and one New York Times article. Both of them are referred in this presentation, you can read it later. So these two were really good resources, and when I read them, it sounded so obvious. Like the solution, the problem as well as the solution is so obvious, anybody could have invented it, but only one person did it. So that's a story that we are going to see today. So I wanted to share it as a proof of how technology can be used in a way that benefits the entire humanity. That's what is the business problem we are talking about. It's not about increasing sales for a particular company or making better marketing, doing better marketing or better servicing. They are also important, but the problem that they have solved here is a much bigger problem, and like I said, it's serving the whole humanity. That's what it is. Okay. So what I'll do is, I'll start with this. So remember this? You all would have filled it some time or other. Definitely you would have seen this. It's called CAPTCHA. This CAPTCHA word itself is coming from the word capture, English word capture. They took the same sound and they invented a word called CAPTCHA, and then this is the expansion for it. Completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart. This Turing word is referring to a person, and this test is basically given to make sure that this form is being filled by a human being, not by a computer. So basically anybody can write a program to fill a form automatically and submit it, but this particular image, only a human being can read it and type it. So that's why this was invented long back, and it is being used in most of the websites. I think we all fill at least one CAPTCHA every day in some website or other. It's really good security for the website, that is agreed, but the problem is it's very boring for the users. Especially when you're in a hurry, you want to complete something very quickly, and then suddenly this pops up and it gives a very difficult word also. You are really concentrating on it and you are feeling very bored, like, okay, the end user experience is waste of time. So we all feel it's waste of time. I mean, who cares whether the website gets security or not? My time is getting wasted. That's what I worry about. So this is what is the common thinking. But that didn't stop the industry from adopting it. So Yahoo popularized it first. Yahoo is the first website to have CAPTCHA, not the first website to popularize it. So after it came in Yahoo, everybody thought, hey, it's a neat idea, let me protect my website from spam, and then they all went and started doing CAPTCHA. Everybody did their own version of CAPTCHA. When you look at this, it's like everybody invented their own ways of creating an image which only a human being can read. That's what they did. Every website started using it. It's very effective because it can't be broken. Till now, not even a single automated program can claim I can crack CAPTCHA. There are some programs which can crack some CAPTCHAs, but no hacker has told that I can break any CAPTCHA in the world. So it's like just by putting one extra dot, you can break their algorithm. It's like that. So it's very difficult to crack and a very effective and technical solution, except that little problem. The user is not happy. The user is wasting his time. When you look at it, assume that you're spending 10 seconds on a CAPTCHA, a single CAPTCHA. Like that, it is estimated that 200 million CAPTCHAs are filled every day. Every day. And this statistics is coming from a video around 5-6 years old. So it would have increased now. It may be 400 or 500 million now. So multiply 200 million by 10 seconds and those many hours are being wasted. People are just blindly looking at an image, typing whatever text is there in it, and they don't gain anything back. Or none of us get anything back by that waste of time. So can something be done about it? This is problem number 1. That's the purpose I have put this number 1 there. So problem number 1 is CAPTCHAs are useful, CAPTCHAs are important, but CAPTCHAs are waste of time. What do we do about it? That's problem number 1. Now we'll go to another problem. Digitizing books. There are tons of books which are all available in libraries and personal collections, and we all feel like, hey, it will be good if we invent some technology to save space. For example, a bookshelf, a full bookshelf with some 500 books. If we can scan all of them and then put it in a computer, probably they all will be in a small USB thumb drive. That's it. It's as simple as that. So people want to digitize books so that they can save space. That's the first purpose. So this is a process which is followed for digitizing books. First they scan it, then they convert it into an image, and then they save it. One problem solved. Okay. So the first problem is you don't have to keep the physical book, you can keep it in the computer. But this is not enough. Stage 1 is not enough because the text is the content is currently available as an image. It can't be searched. For example, there is a book and I want to know in which page there is a reference to Napoleon in that book. It's impossible because everything is an image and Napoleon may be in any page. So stage 2 is we use a technology called OCR. I'll discuss about it in the next screen. To convert these images to text. So whatever you're seeing here can be read by a human being or by a OCR software. What it does is it converts all these images to text, and now you get a searchable text. So that is a second stage. After you have done with this second stage, you have a very neat digitization. That's what we call it as a complete digitization. It's all available as text. I can search. One example. Recently I wrote a book about Akbar. Now there are hundreds of books written about Mughal kings, not specifically with Akbar. All those books may contain some reference about Akbar. Definitely, he is one of the great kings in that Mughal dynasty. So I can't go and read all those 300 books, 400 books. And also, even if I get those 400 books, I don't want to read every page. I only want to read those pages where information about Akbar is present. So if I do this, if digitization is done of all those 300 books, I can just search for the word Akbar, and then wherever it is found, I can only read those pages, and then I can complete my reading or research quickly. That is possible only when you do this. But this is not complete. This technology OCR, which is optical character recognition, it is a wonderful technology, but it is not always reliable. This is the problem. Especially when it is reading old text. When you are reading very old books, when I say old, I think it's depending on your age. When I say old, you may think of a book 2 years old, or 20 years old, or 200 years old. So when I say old, it's really, really old, okay? Much older than me. So that book, the text will be very ancient, okay? And also there will be damages. People who are handling the book, there may be some tearing or some dot may be there, or some stains may be there in the book. Because of all that, what happens is the OCR, this aged portion of society where distinguished from is the original text, whereas it is reading it as NIS aged PNTKM at whatever it is, because of these issues. So OCR is only reliable to some level. Let's say it can read 60% or 70% of the text. The other 30% is always a question mark. So that's a second problem. Can something be done about this? What can we do? This word is wrong, this word is wrong, this word is wrong, and this word is wrong. The problem is, only if a human being reads it, they can know that it's wrong. Unfortunately, it's a computer which is reading this. The OCR software is running inside a computer, and it can't know. It doesn't know that this NAIS is wrong and this is the correct term there. So that's a big problem. That's a second big problem. Can something be done about it? So they found some solutions. One solution is manual correction. We give the book to many people, and not the physical book, the digitized book. So they look at left hand side, they look at the digitized text, right hand side they look at the actual text, and then they decide which one is correct. It's near impossible, first of all, and it is very expensive. Okay, proofreaders are one of the most expensive people in the book publishing industry. People who are in the industry will know. It's very expensive, especially looking at thousands and thousands of books which are out there. If you want to digitize all of them by doing this verification, it is near impossible. That is one solution. Then they invented another solution whereby they decided to use multiple OCR programs. Okay, person X wrote one OCR program, person Y wrote another OCR program. What they do is they give the same image to both the programs. Of course, both of them will not be perfect. Program 1 will make some mistakes, program 2 will make some mistakes. Hopefully, they will not make the same mistake because their algorithms are different. So what they did is, they will compare results from program 1 versus results from program 2. Wherever they are matching, they know that it's a good word, whatever. And they compared it with dictionary, they did some things. And still, even after doing this, there was still around 10 to 15% of the text which is still problematic. Nobody knew what they are. Unless and until a human being sits and looks into those words, that cannot be resolved. That's problem number 3. Now these 3 problems are faced by 3 different sets of people. Problem number 1 is faced by website designers because they want to make sure that the captcha time is not seen as a waste of time. Problem number 2 is seen by OCR people. How do I make OCR perfect? And problem number 3 is seen by digitizing people. How do I proofread my books? Now, when we combine these 3, we get a solution, which is the topic of today's session, crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is a very simple concept. For example, let's say we are all in this room. I want to write an article about what Bangalore thinks about traffic. Now, I can think about it myself and I can write some 10 points, or I can ask all of you to give your thoughts. You all are giving your thoughts, I can combine and I can write it. So that is crowdsourcing. So if there is a book containing 25,000 words, it can be split into 25 people each having 1,000 words. So they do only limited work. They do 1,000 words, they read and they correct it, and we combine and we say the book is completed. Or 50 people each 500 words, if this is difficult. If people say, no, I can't correct 1,000 words, 50 people 500 words, 100 people 250 words, whatever combination. 2,500 people 10 words. But what about 25,000 people each correcting 1 word at a time? Sounds stupid, sounds impossible, but that's what this reCAPTCHA has done. What they have done is, they have taken a book, they have done a proper OCR, they have identified good words, and wherever they couldn't find, wherever they don't know what is the word, they have given it to 25,000 different people, and they all are proofreading for them. Okay, so let's see how. This is the person, Louis von Ahn. I don't know what's the pronunciation. I felt really bad because this guy is 2 years younger than me. And he found something revolutionary, and the solution is, like I said, so simple. It's like you're blown away, like why I didn't think of the solution. So this guy is associate professor at Carnegie Mellon University, and he is the one who coined the old word CAPTCHA. And after doing it, he felt really bad because he's the one who thought, hey, this 10 seconds I'm spending on CAPTCHA is waste. Nobody is getting any benefit from it. So can we do something about it? So he is the one who coined the first word, and then he is the one who thought it is not good enough. And he is also a pioneer in the field of crowdsourcing. The topic of crowdsourcing itself was pioneered by few people, and this guy is one of the important people there. And he founded a company called reCAPTCHA, which was later purchased by Google. Now he works for Google. Let's see what this reCAPTCHA did. This is reCAPTCHA screen versus the old CAPTCHA screen. What is the first difference that you see? 1 word, 2 words. Second? No, not that. That's some meaningless word, whereas these 2 words are real words. That's the second thing that we are seeing. Third one we see is, we see a word called stop spam, read books. Stop spam is clear. CAPTCHA itself was invented to prevent spam. Why do they say read books? That's where all these 3 problems are coming to one single solution. This is what is the solution that they found. First step is usual, you use multiple OCR programs. Each OCR program will give different results. You compare it with the dictionary, you find out what are the real right words. By doing the first step, you are finding all good words and you are earmarking all the problematic words which you are not sure what is the right word. The OCR programs are not able to read it, the word is not there in the dictionary, you are not able to find out what it is. So you are finding the problematic words in the first step. In the second step, what they do is, they use a program called reCAPTCHA to distribute these words to millions and millions of internet users. They all see two words like this. Between them, one is called a control word, which is the actual CAPTCHA, that word upon. That is the actual CAPTCHA, that is what is testing whether you are a human being or not. If you don't type this upon properly, then you are not going to be allowed to go to the next step. Whereas this word is the flagged word. This is a problematic word. For example, this is what? Morning. This is morning. This word morning is shown to, let's say, 25 people. And if out of 25, 22 people type it as morning, and I'm just taking a number, it's not the real number. If 22 people type it as morning, we can reasonably conclude that that word is actually morning. So actually what is happening is, there are 25,000 people who are proofreading one word at a time. This is what is actually happening. Every time when you fill a reCAPTCHA form, half of it is the real CAPTCHA and the other half is you are doing proofreading work for Google. By combining such results from a massive scale, imagine 200 million 5 years back. Today it may be 400 million or 500 million. Those many words, every day people are doing proofreading unknowingly, and it's all combined, and those books are digitized and available in books.google.com. It's not that you're doing free service to Google, you're getting something back. Again, going back to the Akbar example I gave, the entire Akbar book, all the books that I needed were all available in books.google.com, and all I had to do is go and search for the word Akbar, that's it. I don't have to buy the full book. If I buy the full book, I'll be paying 350 rupees, let's say, out of which only 5 pages are useful to me. Now I can only read those 5 pages in books.google.com, which they encourage. They encourage people to go and do. By using this method, in 5 or 6 years, they have digitized the entire New York Times archives. The entire archive is now digitized, and then it's all proofread by real human beings, and the margin of error is very, very low, like 0.1% or something like that. So this is happening as we speak now. Probably some 1 million people would have filled reCAPTCHA during this presentation itself, and it is a continuous process. Continuously they are saying they have enough books for the next 20-25 years for such proofreading to happen. This is probably the biggest crowdsourcing example you can imagine. Crowdsourcing for 10 people, 20 people, 200 people is history. They are doing crowdsourcing with millions of people, unknowingly, and we all are doing that. And this is some statistics. Every day, 100 million plus reCAPTCHAs are served. Again, it's a slightly old statistics, it may be slightly more now. And 96,000 plus websites are having reCAPTCHA implemented, and these are some of the popular websites which are doing it. And there are some security concerns related to reCAPTCHA. People say reCAPTCHA is not as safe as the old CAPTCHA. So that is still existing, the debate is going on, but one thing is for sure, reCAPTCHA is one of the best examples for crowdsourcing. That you can imagine. When I was researching for this, one friend told me a very interesting story. We can apply crowdsourcing in many things, that's what he told. One simple example he was saying, I don't know if it's a real story or just a made up story. It's told that in some scientists, their door that they had, it was very difficult to open and close. So the people who used to come to his house complained that this door is very hard to open, hard to close. Why don't you repair it? He said, no, it's purposefully made hard. Every time you push open or pull that door, it is rotating a wheel and then it is generating some electricity which is used to send water to my plants or whatever. It's like, it's a mini crowdsourcing that we do. You go to a park, you see that rotary gate, only one person can enter at a time. Every day, this rotary door will be rotating for at least 100,000 times every day. If somebody can attach a motor to it and then generate some electricity, maybe it's useful for 1 or 2 lights inside the park. Who knows? This is just an example. And reCAPTCHA gives you such thoughts. No wonder he is the pioneer in crowdsourcing. He is the pioneer in crowdsourcing. He is the guy who is involved in CAPTCHA from day one, and he is the one who thought whatever I invented, CAPTCHA, he didn't invent strictly, but he is the one who helped popularize it. And he was not satisfied, even though it was a good solution, it was a waste of time for the end user. So he thought, let's do something about it and then make it more useful. That's what is the lesson. And this is some things that we can do. If you have your own website, please use reCAPTCHA instead of CAPTCHA. They give you a very simple widget, which you need to just register once as a developer, and then they give you an API key. Once you give the API key, they give you a widget. You can put that widget in any website. Pretty much every technology you can imagine, PHP or anything you can imagine, they have a widget for it. You can just put it in your website. Thereby, even if you have 100 users every day, you are basically helping Google to digitize those books. That's the important thing. And this is another important thing. Like we have to be proud when we are filling those reCAPTCHA forms, because indirectly we are helping Google preserve books. Okay, and this is what I wanted to do as a discussion. Can crowdsourcing solve any of your existing problems? It may be a technical problem, it may be something personal, or it may be, anything else. Think about it. We can discuss about it. And like I said, all the resources that I used are all here. I will share this presentation, including the video and the New York Times article. These two are there. They give you pretty much same information, but not in the presentation format, in a slightly different format.